So don't you think that those constant comparison not only hurts an individual to a great extent, but also affects his or her mental health? How much do you agree with me? How much do you agree my take on comparisons? Hello, I'm Resham and you're watching DNP India. Firstly, welcome back to our channel. अगर अभी तक आपने हमारे चैनल DNP India को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है, then what you waiting for? Please कर लें. Thank you. So all my audience, all the people out there might be wondering कि मैं comparison के बारे में आखिर क्यों बोल रही हूँ. Well, आप title को पढ़ के समझ ही गए होंगे that today we're actually gonna talk about a judgment that came from the side of Kerala High Court. जी हाँ, केरला हाई कोर्ट की तरफ से एक केस के ऊपर जजमेंट आया है जहां मैं आपको बता दूं that they have said that a husband comparing his wife to other women or taunting her about her looks actually amounts to mental in cruelty. जी हाँ, it's actually considered cruel. तो उस पर आपका क्या टेक है? डू यू ऑल्सो थिंक माई लाइव ऑडियंस, डू यू ऑल्सो एग्री विद दिस जजमेंट, दिस स्टेटमेंट दैट दिस constant comparison and taunting actually amounts to mental cruelty? जी हाँ, जहाँ ये केस 13 साल पुराना है, yes you heard that right, 2009 का है, जहाँ पे a woman actually filed a case in the family court and demanded for divorce. Why? Because his partner, of course his husband, used to harass her, not physically but mentally, by comparing her constantly with other women and also pointing out, pinpointing on her looks and taunting her that she's not that cute and beautiful when compared to that of other women. Well, another case of beauty standards coming in from Kerala, a societal standards considered, beautiful or ugly. The standards created by a society is actually harming the mindset of individuals. What do you have to say about that? I would really want to know about this as well, about the Kerala High Court's take on this particular case, that they have actually said that this amounts to mental cruelty, and also about this constant beauty standards that are created in the society. What do you have to say about that? Well, let me read out the statement that has actually come up from the bench of justice of Kerala High Court, which states that the constant and repeated taunts of husband that the woman is not a wife of his expectation, the comparison with other women, etc., would certainly be mental cruelty, again highlighting the mental cruelty aspect which a wife cannot be expected to put up with. जी हाँ, एंड उसी के आधार पे उस महिला को, उस वुमेन को डिवोर्स भी मिल चुका है. जी हाँ, ये केस 13 साल पहले हुआ था. अब नाउ द वुमेन इज एक्चुअली गेटिंग जस्टिस, जहां पे जब फैमिली कोर्ट ने इसको इस डिसीजन पर आया था अबाउट ग्रांटिंग डिवोर्स ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेंटल क्रुएल्टी, then the husband actually challenged that decision. Yes, you heard that right. He challenged that decision in the high court, but then again high court ने फिर ये बोला then we have want to live our life the way we want to, and अगर उसमें भी हमें एक mental illness का सामना करना पड़े with these statements coming in from your husband or your spouse, then it's really not acceptable, and उसी के चलते उनको डिवोर्स भी ग्रांट किया गया है. जहां मैं आपको बता दूं, द केरला हाई कोर्ट said that while an inevitable breakdown of marriage was not a sufficient reason for divorce, the interest, जी हाँ, highlighting the interest of both the parties and society has to be considered, and clearly यहाँ पे दोनों parties का कोई interest नहीं था. So ये तो था a quick capsule look up at the case, the decision of Kerala High Court. But I would really want to know your take on this entire issue, and also the constant comparison and taunting that a woman in a society actually has to go through. ये तो अभी सिर्फ एक केस सामने आया है, and of course एक woman who actually stood up against this and fought for it, and उसको divorce भी मिला. Thankfully the court was with her, the bench was with her, the judges were with her, the law was with her. But then in the end, was the society with her? अगर society में ही initially starting phase में ही ये beauty standards को इतना create नहीं किया होता, इतना ज़्यादा importance नहीं दी होती, तो शायद ये case कभी होता ही नहीं, and the husband wouldn't have gone up to that extent. Well, what do you have to say about this entire issue? Do you think this beauty standards is really not needed and it's time to stop this, especially in we live in the 21st century and still there are people and husbands who actually want a beautiful wife. So how do you define beauty? लाइव चैट में अपना ये आंसर जरूर लेके भेजे, बिकॉज आई वुड रियली वांट टू नो योर टेक ऑन दैट. जहां जब हस्बैंड ने इस डिसीजन पर अपना सवाल खड़ा किया, केरला हाई कोर्ट को भी उन्होंने अपने उन पे इल्जाम लगाए कि दिस इज नॉट रियली एक्सेप्टेबल, देन उसके बाद केरला हाई कोर्ट का भी जवाब आया और उन्होंने रिफ्यूज कर दिया टू इंटरफेयर विद द फैमिली कोर्ट्स रूलिंग एंड सेड that human life has a short span and situation causing misery cannot be allowed to continue, like I mentioned earlier as well. Well, Kerala High Court के इस decision पर इस वाइफ की जो महिला थी वो जो मेंटल क्रूअल्टी से जो गुजर रही थी, एवरीथिंग कैन नॉट बी फिजिकल, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट, एंड समवेयर और द अदर उसी जो डिसीजन था उसको उन्होंने सामने लाया है बाय रेजिंग हर वॉइस अगेंस्ट दिस मेंटल क्रूअल्टी गोइंग ऑन, एंड उसी के चलते फिर द हस्बैंड एक्चुअली challenged this decision, but then, of course, he could not succeed because the Kerala High Court refused to interfere. Well, इस पूरे केस पर, इस पूरे सिचुएशन पर आपका क्या टेक है? Are you also someone who compare your spouse or your partner or to other women or male for that matter? I won't just restrict into one gender, but then are you also someone who does that, and are you also someone who taunts your spouse or your partner regarding their looks or their appearance? Well, what do you have to say about that? I would really want to know your take on this particular issue. Well, I think it's time to address some of your questions, your expectations, your opinions, your experience on that. So उसी के चलते I would really want कि आप हमारे लाइव से जुड़े, और उसी में मैं आपसे जानना चाहूंगी कि आपको इस पूरे सिचुएशन के बारे में क्या कहना है. I would really want to know your take on this. जी हाँ. Well, I'm going to stick in this live for another minute, and इसके चलते आपके बीच में कोई भी questions है, कोई भी सवाल है, कोई भी opinion है, then I would be really um, humbled and really thankful कि आप हमारे साथ जुड़े और आपने अपनी आवाज खड़ी करी, that we have a speak up segment, so उसमें you raised your voice and let out your opinions and your experiences on the same. I would really want to address your issues and your problems in this particular segment, which is really, really needed. Well, I'm going to stick in this live for another minute. Until then, if you have any questions or opinions, because your opinion also matter, जैसे कि हमने अभी बात करी कि ये तो सिर्फ एक सिचुएशन थी, एक केस था, अभी आई थिंक हजारों हजारों महिलाएं इस चीज से गुजर रही होंगी, तो उस पर आपका क्या कहना है? Are you also one of them? You can openly come and speak up about your plight, your things that you're suffering as a woman, as an individual, for sure. Yeah. Well, I think it's time to wrap up this particular live session. अगर आपको हमारा आज का content और video अच्छा लगा, then please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to DNP India. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Keep loving us, keep showering your love, stay safe, and keep watching DNP India.